Until we make the unconscious conscious, it will run our entire life. It will destroy and ruin our entire life, and we will call it fate. So there's things that you see over and over and over again that aren't actually real ever. It's just your belief. It's just your prover. It's just these colored lenses that you have on that say, I'm going to find this over and over and over again. Have you ever gotten a new car and once you bought it, or maybe someone gave it to you, or maybe you were driving with friends on like a road trip in their vehicle, you notice that you start to see that car everywhere. You know, you maybe bought like a Dodge Journey. You'd never seen a Dodge Journey before in your life, but the moment you start driving that car, you're going down the road and you just start seeing them. They're popping out like crazy everywhere, and you're like, I'd never even noticed it before. Or maybe like me, you played the punch buggy game as a kid, so you drive through town or the city, and it would be like the competition on who could find the most amount of punch buggies. Well, that's a really profound and interesting concept of something in our brain that God designed called the RAS, the reticular activating system. And it's a pretty fancy term, but it's so responsible and powerful for pretty much everything in life that we encounter, because what it does is it ensures that you find what you're looking for really, really quickly. See, the reticular activating system in our brain is responsible for you and I saving and conserving energy in our brain so we can process faster and quicker without having to think much. So we don't have to deliberate. So we don't have to give it much thought and much attention, much energy. It's almost like you have a proclivity towards seeing something over and over again because it's familiar, because it's on your radar, because it's actually on your RAS. And so your brain actually has this mechanism within it where, in terms of, if we want to keep the analogy of like our brain being like a computer and having programming and having hardwiring and a hard drive, is that it keeps all of the folders and all the files and all the downloads that it thinks are important to you, and into all the other information that we get every single day, it spits it right out. It just trashes it all and gets rid of it because it's not important. You know, if you're driving in the car on the road and you pass, let's just say on your way to the store, 10 vehicles that are, Volkswagen Atlas, let's just say, and you don't have a Volkswagen Atlas, maybe you don't even know what that is, your brain doesn't want to know it. Your brain does not want to take on unnecessary information that it believes is unimportant to your survival and to you living on Earth longer. And so although you might be passing, a Volkswagen Atlas, 10 of them, lots of them every single day, different, colors or different models, your brain is not registering it consciously at the forefront of your mind because it's like, it's unimportant. It doesn't serve me in my life. It doesn't help me. I don't care to know it. But in terms of your survival, if you buy and get yourself a Volkswagen Atlas, you're going to see them everywhere because you're like, I have one. Oh, they have one. They have one. They have one. All over the place, and so on and so forth. And again, this is due to a place within our brain called the reticular activating system, the RAS. Now, the reason why this is important, and the reason why it's important that your brain conserves and conceals energy and offloads the trash, is because of something in our lives called provers. It's very, very similar, almost different semantics to say the exact same thing, which is the reticular activating system, but you and I have these provers. We have these bends toward finding things in our life over and over and over again. And once you get familiar with this and get acquainted to it, you'll never not be able to see it anymore. Again, just kind of like when you get a new car and you see them everywhere, because your brain is going to be on the bend for it over and over and over. And so what provers essentially are is when you and I have certain belief systems. We have certain beliefs, certain views and ways of seeing the world that we actually prove it to be true over and over and over again. So let's just go for some weird examples here, or just kind of bring it to life together. Let's just say you have this belief within you that got instilled at you at a very young age that says authority figures are scary. Authority figures are mean and are mad at me. You know what's going to happen? You are going to have this prover, this blinder. It's almost like you put on these glasses that give you a distorted view of reality, like AR, an augmented reality, where you see that which you want. You don't see life as it is. You don't see it full of color. You see it full of the colors that you've been programmed to see, that are designed to keep you safe and comfortable, away from threat, and away from dying. And the reason why this is important is because if you have a belief that says authority figures are scary, people are manipulative that are like older than me, leadership, they can't be trusted. Obviously, it's due to your experience. Obviously, it's due to your past and your history. But the reason why that belief is so important to you is because it's meant to keep you safe. And the reason why you'll have this prover and your RAS, your reticular activating system, find it for you everywhere, even without your awareness. You're not consciously trying to think it, but because it's a really big deal for you, according to your survival, if you were to find an adult figure around you that is older than you and bigger than you, and you have had a past where leaders, adults, parents, people in authority were irresponsible with you, they damaged you, they hurt you, they betrayed you, they manipulated you, you felt chronically misunderstood, never seen, never significant, never loved on, never played with, you're going to see them as a threat to your survival, and you're going to want to get away from them. So even when or if you find somebody that's kind, that is warm, that's endearing, if you have this prover within you, this prover in your mind, this belief system in your mind that says authority figures are unsafe and they are manipulative and they will maybe do whatever it takes to make sure that I feel dumb or small or inferior, even when, this is crazy, this is how a prover works, is that even when you find someone that's, let's just say, sincere and endearing, you're going to look at them, and instead of being able to accept the fact that here's a loving human in front of you, you're going to be like, I don't like them. I don't like them. They're being insincere. They're fake. They're lying. They're hiding something. And you're going to end up twisting your own reality that you are seeing in front of you in order to defend your beliefs. Here's why. You and I as human beings do not like being wrong. Ever. I don't like being wrong. I don't want to eat humble pie every 5 feet in life. I like being correct the same way you do as well. And so what this prover is meant to do is meant to prove true that which is already true. You could call it a confirmation bias, but really it's a survival mechanism so that we can continue living. Because if you have a belief that says all authority, again, a large generalization, like an extreme belief, and an extreme belief is anytime you make an absolute, right? Like all authority figures. You can't just say, hey, my parents didn't treat me well, but I'm sure there's really amazing people out there in the world. Because as a little kid, you didn't catch that message. Your parents represent to you all forms of authority, all forms of being cared for. And so in my life, that was definitely true for me. I was like, if people correct me, I'm bad, I'm wrong, and I'm dumb. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid. I can't get things right. Because that's the way I felt when I was being corrected by my family, by my parents, by my mom, by my dad. And again, they may not have consciously said, you're an idiot, you're stupid, but the energy, the spirit, and the aura they gave off was something very similar to that. So I felt that way. And so later in life for me, I have these belief systems. Again, they're not conscious. Most people's belief systems, by the way, I want to tell you right now, we are 95% unconscious beings. So your provers, your RAS, is responsible for conserving 95% of the energy in your mind. That means that you and I are controlled primarily by our subconscious mind. Only 5% of that which you are thinking right now is conscious, that you are aware of, that you're actually listening to what I'm saying and sharing. 5% of your brain is being activated. The other 95% is searching. Your brain right now is searching for so many things. You're searching through my shirt, the color of the background, the couch, and you're trying to answer all these questions. But again, maybe not deliberately, maybe not consciously. You're like, okay, can I trust this guy? What's he saying? Do I agree with this? Right? There's probably like a million questions going on in the background, being like, do I feel safe with his shirt around me? Is his tonality, is he too intense? Is this guy arrogant? Is he a prick? He's clean shaven. He looks baby-faced. Does he even know anything? Why should I be listening to him? So many questions, right? We all will be having these. Why? Because we're trying to figure out if we're safe. We're trying to figure out if there's a threat. We're trying to figure out if we're all right. And so if you have this belief system, let's just say that it's like, all guys who make courses are just trying to make money and they provide no value, then there might be a chance that you are being challenged right now to see me or view me in a way that would defend that belief system to be true, and so on and so forth. Or same if you had a view about men. Just men in general are really scary, that all men want one thing. all men just want to have sex with women and that's it. They don't care about anything else. Guess what? You are going to end up finding those men around you, even when it's not there, but you will always end up finding it because the Bible's true when it says, ask and it'll be given to you. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be opened. This is an insane truth right now that's irrespective of the motive, that you will always find what you are looking for, that you will always search and discover the thing that you are trying to find. And so if you maybe see somebody and you had a disconnect with them and you feel like they're mad at you, you feel like they're angry towards you, you know, they're going to just say like, hi, how are you? Maybe in public and you're with a friend and you tell them that, they're going to walk away and be like, do you hear them? They just said, hi, how are you? Dude, they were so shallow. Did you hear that? They were like really bitter in their tone and you're making stuff up. Have you ever had somebody where they tell you something about someone and they say about so-and-so is such a way? Let me just kind of give a few examples. One could be, hey, this person is, I just want you to know, just need you to be aware of them. This person's really full of themselves. They're really hot-headed. They're pretty self-absorbed. And so right now, they just gave you and offered you one of their belief systems. They offered you one of their provers that they have. And so what are you going to do? You have two choices. You can either accept it or reject it. But again, because most of us, every single one of us are governed by our subconscious mind, 95% of it is unconscious, we're going to just say, okay, sounds good. Thanks for telling me. And you're going to unknowingly take on that prover. So as they're talking, you're going to be like, wow, that person really is full of themselves. Holy, they are super arrogant. I'm so glad that you told me. And in reality, they might not be that way at all. They could just be confident. They could just be chipper. They could just be outgoing. Heck, you might be able to say, dude, that guy flirts with every girl. That guy is just talking to every girl all the time, and he's super flirty. What your brain is going to do is disconnect, throw away, and disassociate every time he's talking to men or guys or the same sex as he is. And anytime that he's talking to a girl, you're going to see it, you're going to find it, and you're going to judge it. Why? Because in your world where you have a belief that says this guy only is flirting with every girl, you're going to be like, danger, danger, danger. He's a player. Don't go near him. But maybe he's just incredibly friendly. Maybe he's just like that with everybody everywhere. But in your world, you're like, I need to see him as a threat, because if I were to see him as sincere and all right and just personable, that does not compute with your history. That does not compute with your life experience. Your life experience is like, guys aren't that way. Girls aren't that way. And so you throw the baby out with the bathwater constantly. I do this in my own life. But what's really important is that we make the unconscious conscious. We make the unaware self-aware. Carl Jung, famous psychologist, said something similar. He says, until we make the unconscious conscious, it will run our entire life. It will destroy and ruin our entire life, and we will call it fate. So there's things that you see over and over and over again that aren't actually real ever. It's just your belief. It's just your prover. It's just these colored lenses that you have on that say, I'm going to find this over and over and over again. Even when it's not true, you're making it up. You're making crap up constantly. I'm doing this too. And so the real goal, the end of the road, is that we shift and change and transform these belief systems so that they're actually helpful and serve us, and so that we get out of just a survival self-protection mode. But we can't do that until we call out what these provers are. And so what I want you to do is discover for yourself what your provers are that you are holding in your life. And this is going to take an ability. So this is why the reflection exercises are so important here, that you're doing the questions that you're asking, because this is going to help you tap into your subconscious mind. This is going to help you access the 95% in the hardwiring and the programming of what makes up you right now that you don't currently know. It's not awareness yet. It's not self-aware. It hasn't come to the forefront of your being. And this is super, super, super crucial for you to know and reflect on every single question. Is really, really like the crux of how you're going to begin to transform your entire life. Again, Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will ruin your life and you will call it fate. You'll just think this is the way that it is. This is the way it's supposed to be. All men are just jerks. Again, you're creating absolutes. And if you have these absolutes, you're in chaos, you're in dysfunction, you're in pain, you have trauma, you have baggage, and you need healing. Having one extreme to the other is always going to have us be in chaos, because you don't want to have a belief system that says, I can trust all men all the time, because that won't serve you at some point, and that's not going to be helpful or healthy. But you also don't want to have one that says, all men are just jerks, all men just want one thing, all men are chauvinistic, all men are controlling and manipulative. That's also not going to serve you, because you're going to find people that are really great and you're going to completely dismiss them. And then you're going to misunderstand them, and you're going to just keep proving true what you see over and over and over and over and over again. And so this is going to be an opportunity for you to peel back the layer, get behind the matrix, answer some questions on helping you discover through the reflection questions below, what are your provers? How have they come to be? Where have you seen them at work in your life? And again, awareness is the key. You might be like, well, how do I fix it? Where do I go? Don't worry. We'll get there. But the point for right now is just becoming aware of it, because beginning of awareness is actually going to start to break and shift the pattern. Because once it happens, you're going to see, oh my gosh, this is happening. Oh my goodness, I do that. And then you can begin to challenge it. And the moment you question and you challenge your reality, it's no longer true. And that's why we're going to get you to challenge it, because once you actually look at it and you're like, hey, I don't think that's the way that it really is, it's no longer that way. So answer the questions below, reflect on it, get the clarity of answers that you need to have, and I'll catch you in the next one.